Hi everybody. Next week it's time for the Volta Ciclista Catalunya, featuring 7 stages. Racing starts with a 180k hilly stage, good for 2600 meters of elevation gain. None of the climbs are really steep, but there's lots of up and downs, with also the final K going up. This finish has been used repeatedly over the last years, with Matthews winning in 2019 and 22, Roglic in 23, and Nick Schulz just staying out of Pogacar's reach following a late breakout on last year's edition. Your most likely pick here is going to be either a versatile sprinter or one of the GC guys. Stage 2 covers about the same distance, yet only has 1600 meters of climbing. Halfway through the stage, there's a 7k 7% average climb, which has the potential to trouble an old school sprinter, none of which are lining up here. The climb shouldn't bother the versatile sprinters a la Groves, Van den Berg or Bittner, who will almost certainly fight for the win here. Also look out for Brennan and Anielkowski, who should be able to ride a good result in this starting field. On stage 3, things get serious already, 218k with an uphill altimetry all day. None of it particularly steep, yet the climbing is relenting, good for 4,796 meters of climbing, finishing in La Molina. The first category finish climb covers 8k at 6.5% average. Former winners here are Valverde, Miguel Angel Lopez, Ben O'Connor and Evenepoel. In my opinion, it's not unlikely for the winner of this stage to also win the GC. Stage 4 is another interesting mountain stage, 188k and nearly 3000 meters of climbing, finishing atop the first category climb to Montserrat, 9k at 6.6% average. There's room for attackers here, so look for decent climbers who drop time on the former stages to be allowed into the breakaway. On stage 5, the riders cover 172k with limited elevation gain, this time around featuring in the first half of the stage. Ward should move back to the fast man here. Stage 6 then is another big day in the mountains, 160k, good for just over 4000 meters of climbing, and finishing in Keral, 6k at 7.5% average. In the run-up to this climb, halfway through the stage, the riders are presented with the Col de Pradel, which features 5k in the double digits. Stage 7 is an extremely short stage featuring a city circuit comprising Montjuic, which will need to be tackled 6 times, 2.7k at 4.5% average, yet with the final 800 meters in the double digits. So look for a punchy rider here. To summarize, without knowing the actual race situation, we're looking at 3 sprint stages, 2 versatile ones and 1 regular sprint stage, 3 mountaintop finishes and a punchy hilly stage to finish it off. Here's an overview of the winners of the former 10 editions of the Volta Ciclista a Catalunya, with Spanish and Colombian riders good for 6 wins. Over the same period, Valverde won the race back-to-back in 2017 and 18, and traditionally, this race has been good to Movistar, and note that it's always been won by a climby, punchy rider. There's 3 former winners on the preliminary start list, Quintana, Adam Yates and Roglic, and some notable riders who've done well here in the past. Soler, Bernal, Landa, Carapaz and G have all been on the podium here, and Simon Yates, Kruiswijk, Kelderman, Mas and Ayuso all rode solid top 10 positions on GC. Betting odds were not yet available at the time of recording, yet here's the riders to watch in my book. Landa is the main rider I'll be watching at Soudal Quickstep, 7th in Tirreno Adriatico earlier this month, and he'll certainly be looking for a better result on home soil. Besides him, also keep an eye on Le Serre and Valentin Paré-Peintre. For Ineos, G typically eases into the season, so Bernal is the rider I'll be watching. We haven't seen him in action much, yet he seems to be getting back to his old self, and there's no reason that trend wouldn't continue. As is becoming the norm, Team UAE is the strongest one lining up here, with Ayuso, Adam Yates, Sivakov and Soler all riders who can do well here, both on GC and in the hunt for stages. Ayuso, winner of this year's Tirreno Adriatico, Adam Yates, winner of the Tour of Oman, and Sivakov, winner of the Ruta del Sol, where Soler came 7th. At Visma Lease Bike, look for Brennan in the sprints and Simon Yates and Kuss on GC, 14th only in Tirreno Adriatico though. Lenny Martinez is the rider to watch at Bahrain, and at the F, Carapaz has been 2nd here in 22, and even though from what we've seen so far this year he isn't firing on all pistons yet, I'm expecting them to ride for Carapaz here, backed by Chavez and Steinhauser, whom are both interesting stage hunters if they're not on Carapaz duty. And obviously look out for Vandenberg in the sprint stages. Roglic is the man to watch at Red Bull Bora, 8th only in the Algarve, yet expects his form to be on the rise. At Movistar, Mas has been easing into this season, yet can't be ignored in my opinion. Without a real GC contender, it looks like Groupama's best shot is to aim for stage wins here. At Astana, Lorenzo Fortunato is the rider to watch, and despite a modest result at Paris-Nice, Ben O'Connor is the man to watch at Jaiko Alula. At Little Trek, Kemna and Gegenhardt are the riders to watch, and at the moment it looks like Kemna has a slight edge. At Postanel, look for Bittner to mix it up in the punchy stages, while at Arkea, Christian Rodriguez will be riding for GC, yet he hasn't shown too much yet this year around. I'll also be watching youngsters Vestad, who rode a solid Tour of Oman earlier this season. At Lotto, Lennart van Eetveld will be fighting for GC here, 11th on the UAE Tour and 9th in the Strade. At Cofidis, look for Anielkowski in the sprint stages. At Israel Premier Tech, Riccitello is their best shot at GC, and look for Strong and Vernon in the fast stages. Also, Alpecin will be aiming for stage wins here with Groves in the sprint stages and Quinten Hermans in the punchy ones. I expect Zimmerman at Intermarché to ride for GC here, and at Decathlon Egitoire, Gal had a bit of a rough start to Paris-Nice, yet he seemed to be back up to par in the final stages, so he's the one to watch here. Also keep an eye on Stane Mittet, fairly invisible in Paris-Nice, yet with a good top 10 result on the Ruta del Sol. Also watch out for Berthet, second in this year's Ruta del Sol. As for the Pro Conti teams, I'm not expecting too much on GC, yet I'll be keeping an eye on Eric Antonio Fagundes at Burgos, 5th in the Gran Camino earlier this year, while Aberasturi could ride a solid sprint result in this starting field. In terms of stars, Ayuso and Roglic are my 4-star favorites, Landa and Adam Yates get 3 stars, Gal, Bernal, Koes and O'Connor each get 2 stars, and Mas and Van Eertveld each get 1 star. And for the podium, I'm calling Ayuso for the win ahead of Roglic and Landa. Enjoy the race and see you soon for my Gent-Wevelgem preview.